sun is rising, you can see the Nibiru system reflecting off the clouds. These clouds have not been seen like this before, especially in December. Look at the buildings. You'll see that Nemesis is reflecting off the buildings, the colouring. Look at this cloud. This cloud is reflecting from the Nibiru system. Can you see the yellowness and the redness on this cloud? Strange colourings and things. This is because the Nibiru system is out there and the reflections are coming in. It's very important that you see this now. These heavenly bodies are out there in the solar system, and they're basically using these chemtrails here to cover the system, and basically it's harming us. They're making us feel sick. I'm getting emails of people saying that they're feeling very unwell, and many people are also saying that the system is making very strange reflections in the sky. I'll go to the next cam. Here is the other cam that you can see. You will see on the right hand side the Nemesis, the reflection. There it is. Nemesis is on this horizon, and they chemtrail in the mornings, and this thick chemicals that are being spread out in the skies are here every day, basically above our heads. Just don't want us to see the truth. Look at this. This object is huge. And there's another object that's hidden behind the chemtrails. That would be Nibiru and the moons. It's only a matter of time until we see these objects now. Okay? Look at the way this moves. Look at the reflections, how they move. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And there you've got Nemesis that's reflecting off the sun, the sea. It's all being covered up by our cloaking devices that are out there that are built by the military, NASA and government. They don't want us to see the truth. It's all happening now. Look at the chemtrails as well. The chemtrails are trying to hide what's going on up there as well. This is all happening now. Okay? It's so important now to prepare to what's coming. The sky's a complete mess. They're covering everything. Because the sun is burning twice as hot now, the hydrogen is being burnt from our clouds every single day now. Every single day we are having issues. Can you see this? If I go back, you can see this, can't you? That's traveling towards the sun. This is a huge chem cloud. Okay? You've got the sun here. Here you've got a heavenly body that's coming up as well, that's hidden behind these chemtrails. Hidden so thick you can't see the reflection on the sea just yet. And then the simulator will start working. I'll go to the next cam. Here's another image on the Mexico cams. You can see here to the left, you can see where the heavenly body is coming up, and this other object. These are here, and they're reflections, and they're coming in very fast now. It's time to prepare because it's here, happening now. We're running out of time because these objects are up there. Look at the sky. The sky is changing, and I've noticed as well today that they've half cut the Mexico cam, so we can't see the full Mexico cam sunset. So it must have been showing on the Mexico cams today. Look at this. These are heavenly bodies that are behind these chem clouds. They are up there and they are real. And this is where they use these black chemical clouds to hide things that are going up there in the skies. They've been documented before that these have been happening. Lots of channels have been shut down because of this. And look at this. Our skies are changing. When these heavenly bodies rise away, we get our natural colourings back again, and then we got the simulator. Because they're all travelling with the simulator through the daytime up above in the afternoon skies. You can see the redness on the horizon from the Nibiru system, and there's an object that's travelling behind them chem clouds. It's all happening now. It's time to prepare. It really is time to prepare.
After climate change and rising ocean levels, I incorporated into casual conversations with people I knew and came in contact with. I was having lunch one day with a friend of mine This friend is a veteran of the U.S. Navy Submarine Corps. And I was talking about what would be causing this, because I did pretty quickly learn what would be causing the rising ocean levels and abrupt climate change. And my friend starts telling me what he heard at a classified U.S. Navy briefing. And he went on about how the Navy had told everybody in the submarine corps about rising ocean levels and what that would mean, and why Navy retirees should consider moving to the Arkansas, Missouri Ozarks, because the Navy was telling, and is still telling these men, that the Arkansas, Missouri Ozarks are one of the known safe havens when all these events take place. Later that night, I got home and I was thinking about our conversation, and something occurred to me that hadn't occurred to me while the two of us were together. And it occurred to me that we were talking about the same thing. I was talking about the cause, and he was talking about the effect. At that point, I also remembered a map that a patient of my wife's a chiropractor, had brought in and showed my wife back in the mid-'80s, of what North America would look like after the oceans rose to their new levels. Now, at the time, I thought, this lady needs a tinfoil hat real bad. That's the only thing I could think of. It was a beautiful full-color map done by a psychic. But I always remembered the map. I have a very good memory about things that I choose to remember. And I thought about this map, and I called my friend on the phone, and I said, I got this map. I want to send it a copy of it. I got a little copy I found on the internet, 4 by 4 inches. So I sent it to him by email. And my friend looks at it and he says, well, from the Rocky Mountains east, it's very accurate compared to what the Navy showed us, with one exception. Wisconsin's gone on the Navy's map. Wisconsin is still there on Scallion's map, Gordon Michael Scallion, well-known psychic. And from the Rocky Mountains west, it's not even close to what the Navy says, not even a little bit close. So I went ahead and ordered a copy of Scallion's map, a full-size version of it, and I get together with my friend, and he goes over the entire coast of the United States, East Coast, Gulf Coast around Florida, down to Texas, West Coast on up to Washington. And he shows me in great detail where the Navy said the new shoreline was going to be. He also told me that the East Coast would take damage up to the Blue Ridge Parkway. Now, the Blue Ridge Parkway runs north-south on the east side of the Appalachian Mountains, about 100 miles from the coast. Now, you have to keep in mind, this is not John Moore. This is U.S. Navy in classified briefings telling these men what would be happening in the future. Since talking to my friend, I've also interviewed 3 more Navy veterans. One was an officer in the submarine corps. Another was an intelligence officer from another service assigned to the submarine corps for a 3-year tour of duty. And the third guy was a Navy veteran. Fourth guy, actually. The intelligence officer, he was kind of an unusual way that the two of us got together. A friend of mine, he's a college professor, and I was at his college class on international relations giving a presentation on terrorism. The other presenter was this former intelligence officer. So we finish our presentation to college students on terrorism, and we go to a pizza place in Rolla. And there's 4 of us. Myself, I'm sitting here. The retired intelligence officer, his wife sitting next to me. And the intelligence officer himself sitting across from me, and my friend, the college professor, is right over here. Once I found out that he did a 3-year tour of duty with the submarine corps, I knew I had to ask the question. I might never see this man again in my life. I got to ask the question. Now, we haven't talked about rising ocean levels. And this you have to keep in mind, this is a basic tool of investigative work, is interviewing witnesses at different times and different places, interviewing witnesses that don't know each other. You want to get to the heart of a matter, that's the way it's done. You find witnesses who don't know each other that have the same information, and you interview them at different times, different places. So I asked him, tell me what you know about rising ocean levels. His wife sitting next to me, before he can even speak up, his wife sitting next to me says the following. We were on our last duty assignment, and we were at the Pentagon. Now, we've been all over the planet, typical military family, and we had to pick a place to retire. We chose the Arkansas-Missouri Ozarks because of rising ocean levels. I had my answer. I had my answer. We talked about that a little bit more. A few weeks later, I made a lunch appointment with him, and I brought the map with me that I'd revised after going over with the first submarine veteran. I brought it with me. We met at Steak and Shake, had lunch, and I had him revise the map even further, getting a few more details in there. The third submarine veteran, retired submarine officer, he's one of my pistol students. We had lunch and we talked, and he says, John, I signed these non-disclosure agreements. If I tell you what I know, I could lose my pension. I have to be out 5 years before I can tell what I know about rising ocean levels. I've only been out 3 years. I said, well, can you blink your eyes once for yes and twice for no? Then you won't be talking. He says, yeah, I can do that. The retired submarine officer verified what the other two submarine veterans had told me earlier. Word for word, detail for detail. And he also, this is the third man who had chosen the Arkansas-Missouri Ozarks for his retirement home. The Prophecy Club, a Christian group out of Topeka, Kansas, they sent me on a nationwide speaking tour in 2005 on this topic. And I'm up in Detroit speaking on this. On one of the breaks, I have a man walk up and introduce himself to me. He says, John, I'm in the insurance industry. And we've wondered for years, us in the insurance industry, why is there such a cluster of retired Navy people in the zip codes of the Arkansas-Missouri Ozarks? Now I know. Now I got my answer. The Navy knows. Another pistol student of mine, a retired Navy guy, I said, what's the altitude of your new home? He told me to the foot the altitude of his new home. How many people can do that? Almost nobody. He told.
Hello, it's Matt again, and that was John Moore that was talking about rising sea levels. It's all happening now. This is all the truth, and you need to focus on what's going on. I mean, look at this. You can see this Mexico cam on the 12th. Look at these chemtrails, and to the ground as well. It's too dark for the sun to be. The sun is being covered now by all these thick clouds, these chemtrails, because we are basically in a binary system, and we've got Nibiru and Nemesis that's eclipsing our sun right now. Look at the left, you can see the darkness in the sky. These people must be wondering what's going on, because today as well here in the UK, I said before that people were putting their lights on at 11 AM in the morning. They were driving around with their lights on. The sun was out and it was dark, completely dark. We are being eclipsed, and also this morning at 10:30, people were putting their car lights again on and driving around as if it's dark. We are in a binary system, as I said, and also the simulator is covering the truth. It's above the atmosphere. You can just see these chemtrails. You can see where the natural clouds are being burnt in front of the sun. They can't produce the naturalness of what's going on, of what they've done before, and the chemtrails are just trying to provide the same effect as the natural clouds. But it's no good. We're fighting a losing battle, because at the end of the day, these are harming us anyway. They're harming our atmosphere, but they don't care. Basically, they just don't want us to see the system before the very end, to the very, very end, when we've got no time to prep and prepare. So these Nibiru channels and these other channels, the good ones, are basically telling you to prepare, because the time is coming now. Look at this cam. It's just showing you the truth. The clouds are being pushed down low, the natural clouds. The chem clouds are covering the simulator. The sun is burning twice as hot now because it's being agitated by Nemesis and Nibiru, and the moon's Hellion. It's all happening now. And above there, they're hiding also. Asteroids and comets are being dragged right through behind the system. And when this passes, when this situation passes, believe me, okay, I'm telling you the truth now. I want the truth to go out there. This is the absolute truth for you, the subscribers and viewers that are watching this footage. When Nibiru and Nemesis, the brown dwarf, passes our Earth, we are going to have a serious pole shift. The poles will shift and the Earth will be ripped, and we're going to have huge tsunami waves, 6 to 1,000 miles an hour in strength, going across the land. We have got a situation where we've got no chance. This is a natural event. It's happened before, 6 times before, and it's going to happen again. Okay, there's no doubt in it now. It's going to happen again, and it will happen again in the next 3,600 years. It's happening now. The time's up now. The 3,600 years is time overdue. The system is here now. You need to see these clouds, okay? You need to go outside. For those who have not looked or anything, please go outside and see them chemtrails. They are chemtrailing every day now to hide the system. Don't be fooled by climate change. It's a hoax. Climate change is a complete hoax. It's now. The system is here. The celestial bodies are here now. They are hiding it with the simulator. They're hiding it. They're cloaking it. Right to the very end. So the banking system, the money doesn't get stopped. People don't go out causing mass panic, civil war. But let me tell you something. It's in our instincts. We have an instinct to know that something's going wrong. And thousands more are waking up to this situation. Many people are now starting to look up at the skies. And that's what we need people to do. We need these channels that we've got, these fantastic channels that are providing the truth. We need this. Because eventually people from all over the world are going to look up and think, look at that. What is going on? And then the earthquakes will come in and all sorts of havoc. We need to prepare for what's going on now. It's just a situation now where we're in December and it's warm. We are in December and the weather is strange. It's not like our normal winter weather. Anyway, I will show you the next cam. Here's the next cam, the webcam, now to show you what these chemtrails do. What they do is, look at these lines in the sky. This has been happening all through the summer as well. And there you can see the reflections on the seabed. This is hiding the system. The system has got larger now. I've been watching these webcams for a couple of years, and it was a lot smaller, but it's a lot larger now. This big, huge light source, and the chemtrails are a lot brighter, a lot bigger now. Can you see this? The system is here now. All these chem clouds, this black clouding in front of everything, these lines. This is unnatural. This is an unnatural effect now, and you need to know this. You need to know that they're covering the Nibiru system and Nemesis. And our star, the sun, is being affected, and it's burning twice as much, burning all the natural clouds away, and they're putting all these thick chemtrails and all these chemicals up in the sky. You need to not be the one stuck on the fence. It's very important now. It's here. The situation is here, and it's not going to go away. You need to prepare. Look at these chemtrails. Look at the thickness of the blackness of the chem clouds, the thickness. I'll go to another cam in a second. Hello, it's Matt again on the Mexico cams, and you can see this image here. It's very important. Look at the reflections again. Can you see here on the horizon? You can see where they've chemtrailed in the morning. This is where they've chemtrailed in the morning. And also, if you go through the cam, you can see the Nibiru system that's below the chem clouds. That's what they don't want you to see. They don't want you to see that heavenly body that's murking out there in the solar system. Look at this. The two light sources. You've got the first source then, that's our sun coming, and you can see here the Nibiru system. Okay, this piece here and here. These celestial bodies are out there now, and it's a time now to prepare. Look how the chemtrails are not doing no work now. They're just being burnt away. This huge sun object and the celestial bodies are massive, far too big for our Earth to cope with these situations that are incoming. Can you see the way that it moves? Look at the way it moves. It's showing you that there's different reflections that are coming up there from the horizons. The system is now here. There you've got the chemtrails that are reflecting off the Nibiru system. And there on the horizon you can see the build-up of the chemtrails again as it's hiding the celestial bodies. These are all reflections. You must understand this now. Please don't just brush it off and think, oh, it's not going to happen, because this situation is going to happen. Look at these chem clouds. Look what they're pumping up in the skies. These chem clouds are going to do nothing when the system is here. When it's actually here, all this is just going to be burnt away completely in a matter of milliseconds. The system is now incoming now. There's other objects up there in the sky, some heavenly bodies that are reflecting. They reflect from a long distance. These heavenly bodies are still far out in the solar system. Because they are huge, they are coming in close now. The reflections will show, and they're starting to show now. There's different stages. I'll go to a different cam now because they do half, they white screen a lot of the cam images. Here's a volcano cam. Now look at the size of this volcano. Now when this volcano becomes active, all this will disappear. All of it. Now look here on the left hand side. This image here is Nibiru, I believe, that's on the left hand side, sorry. And basically, you will see this get bigger. It's on other cams as well. You only get to see these objects different parts of the month, the days, because we are tilting, we are being pushed forwards and backwards. Look at the chemtrails that are above in the skies. Now look at Nemesis reflecting off the buildings. This is not our sun that's reflecting off the buildings, this is Nemesis. Don't be fooled to thinking that, look, see how it gets dark and light? Watch. There you go. This is Nemesis that's reflecting. And then through the morning, the white screen. And there now is our sun that's now reflecting in the skies. I've showed this on another video. This one's today's. You must remember this now, okay? I'll go back. You can see the darkness. There's the gap. Right, you can see this now. Now when you go back, the white screen to try and confuse people. This is Nemesis that's reflecting on the screen. If I go back, and this is Nibiru in the background here on the left hand side. If I go back, you'll see Nemesis that's reflecting off the skies, white screen, blank. And then our sun is now up and reflecting onto the buildings. It's all happening now. It's all happening now. Here is another image. Here's another webcam. I want to show you the reflections. To the right you will see the Nibiru system. To the left is the sun. Now this is very important that you see this. You will see this come through. To the right hand side. Look to the right of the screen on the horizon. And you will see the Nibiru system will start showing itself. There's the oxide that's coming through. The trash on the horizon. Now look at the the right hand side. You will see there it is. This here is another heavenly body. This will be Nibiru, Nemesis. Look at this. This is very important, this image. These are reflections that are coming in. They are coming in, and they are coming in fast. They are still out there in the vast of the solar system. They're in our solar system now, and they're moving in. They're incoming. This moves like a comet, and it's pulling all this trash with it. It's very important that you know this. This is Nibiru. Okay, look at this. You can see the shape now, and look at all this trash. This is going in front of the sun, and in the morning they're chemtrailing to hide all this. They chemtrailing, and they want to hide everything before everything happens, and it will happen. So there is Nibiru, 100%. Nemesis will reflect off the buildings in a moment. You can see the redness of this object. The sun is on the left-hand side and Nibiru is here on the right-hand side. And through the day, it swings like a comet, and when it comes down on sundown, it's on the left side of the sun. Can you see the redness? Look at the reflections, the colouring. It's very important that you see the colouring of what's going on. Here is Nemesis that's reflecting off the buildings. And here is Nibiru that's in the background, and our sun has not risen yet. Watch this. They've white screened it and our sun is now appearing in the skies. This object now is going down. It's very important that you see these. If you can go to a clear horizon, as the sun comes up, look to the right. Look to the right. This is our natural sun now on the buildings. Very strange times. Very, very strange. And I really hope you will, all of you will prepare for this. Please stock up. Please. I want to save lives, and I want you to understand that this system is coming now.
Good afternoon. My name is Dwayne Brown with the Office of Communications, and welcome to NASA headquarters. Today, NASA reveals near-Earth asteroid findings and implications for future research from the agency's Near-Earth Object Wide Field Infrared Survey Explorer, in short, NEOWISE. Today's information and graphics can be obtained on the web at www.nasa.gov/wise. We will have brief presentations from our presenters, then open it up for questions at our NASA centers and the phone bridge. Before we get started, let me introduce you to today's speakers. First up, Lindley Johnson, NEO Program Executive, NASA Headquarters, Washington. Amy Meinzer, NEOWISE Principal Investigator, NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory, Pasadena, California. Tim Spar, Director, Minor Planet Center, Smithsonian Astrophysical Observatory, Cambridge, Massachusetts. And Lucy McFadden, Scientist, NASA's Goddard Space Flight Center in Greenbelt, Maryland. And with that, I'll toss it to Lindley to start us off.
Thanks, Dwayne. Thank you all for tuning in to hear about our progress with the Near-Earth Object Observation Program. We're here today to provide an update of our understanding of the near-Earth asteroid population and announce achievement of some significant goals in finding our nearest neighbors in the solar system. Over the past 12 years, our work to find near-Earth asteroids has largely been done by several ground-based observatory teams. But in 2010, NASA augmented those efforts by enhancement of the ground processing of the data being returned by the Wide Field Infrared Survey Explorer.
So one of the characteristics of NEOWISE is that it really was a fairly small telescope in a low Earth orbit. In fact, the telescope would kind of fit under your arm like this, so it's not particularly large. But by virtue of being in space and operating at infrared wavelengths, it's a very powerful telescope, and it turns out to be very good at finding asteroids and comets. Now, if you go to the first animation here, you can see a little representation of what WISE looks like going around the Earth. It's always pointing outward from the Earth, surveying the whole sky. And as the Earth goes around the sun, this allows the telescope to very quickly and efficiently carry out a survey of the whole sky. And in fact, it was so fast we were able to survey the whole sky twice in infrared wavelengths in only 1 year. And you can see here a little representation of the difference between visible light and the infrared light that WISE was able to see. So this was a very efficient and effective way of surveying the sky. And the original purpose of the mission was actually to study cool stars in very distant galaxies, and it's doing a great job of that. However, it turns out to also be very good at detecting asteroids. This is because it's using infrared light.
First of all, I find it really exciting that scientists continue to find things in the solar system, bodies in orbit around the sun, and objects that are close to our backyard in the near-Earth space. I want to congratulate the team for your successes, and I know from experience that in order to conduct a survey and to locate and discover new bodies from spacecraft missions requires a lot of planning, a lot of ingenuity, huge amounts of computing power, and then hours and hours, months of discussions with colleagues and poring over the data to validate the results.
Thank you. I realize you're focusing on near-Earth asteroids today, but there's been so much talk about the potential for finding a planet X or some sort of large body through the WISE survey. Can you comment on any status on that sort of search, or maybe even reassure people that planet X isn't coming to get them next year?
Yes, this is Amy Meinzer. I'm happy to answer this one. Planet X is not coming to get us. But we are looking to see if there are any other bodies in the outer part of the solar system with the WISE data. This is a very natural project for WISE. And so we're still working on it right now. We've obviously just returned a huge amount of data from the telescope. It's going to take us a long time to sort through. But the initial results are very promising. You may have seen earlier results where we've discovered a new class of very cool type of stars with WISE. But the search is still on, and we don't think that there's anything that's hazardous in the outer solar system. We think that this is just a sort of if there is something out there, it would be a large body in a roughly circular orbit.
Hello, it's Matthew again, and thank you for watching the footage this evening. Well, we can say basically this screen says it all. This Mexico cam, you can see that there's two light sources on the sea, and also heavenly bodies that are traveling with the sun. Now the thing is, basically, the simulator is failing now. It's getting too big. The system is getting too big. Look at the skies, it's very dark. And also that piece of NASA footage, you could see basically the body language that they're hiding something. Okay? The body language tells a big story that they're lying, they're covering up, they're basically on gagging orders, and they're not to say anything. The government have paid them wealthily not to say anything. They are government paid military people, NASA, and I believe, and many others now believe, that the system is coming in. It's been here before, and this webcam just proves everything, really, because at the end of the day, look at the dimness, the darkness. The sun is being eclipsed by the Nibiru system, and we all need to prepare. And I will do another video soon. Getting used to things now, so basically I will get things sorted. I'm prepping myself. I'm just bringing tins in and water and things, and I'm prepping for my family, and I want you to do that too, because this is a true video. This is a true channel. Just want people to know what's going on. That's all I want. It's just people to know what's going on. A kind friend of mine, Ian Gordon, who sends me emails, he too just wants the truth to come out. That our sun is burning twice as hard now as these bodies are around the sun. So anyway, take care and have a lovely week, and I'll come back to you